Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to another podcast. This time we're going back a little bit to normal with me, Oscar, and Joey, who somehow survived his wreck.
I was on here like last time recently.
For spoilers
Like-
after the fact, Colin.
Yeah, but if you don't follow spoilers, like, wow, I thought Joey died because Colin said he died. As always, if you guys want to connect with us, there's our Discord and Facebook links, etc. in the description below. And if you want to support us on Patreon, once again, this is made possible because of our patrons, especially if you're listening to this on things like iTunes and Google Play. We'll also have our mini podcast up there after this, or at the same time as this podcast is released. And also, if you guys are in the market for Force of Will singles, Caster Chronicles singles, or looking to sell some of your Force of Will singles or sealed product, etc., click the link below for Happy Little Hug Factory. They have some awesome stuff for really great prices. They have Time Spinning Witch for $80, the Constructor Deck for $15, and a whole bunch of singles that I'll probably be getting there in a sec here. I have to go through a whole list of stuff I need, but yeah, just it's in the description below, the link. So this podcast, we just had our pre-release, our ARG States, and some other things we're going to be talking about, as well as our Ruler of the Week finally, having that come back. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Oscar, you want to get a start? We'll start with the beginning of the week at ARG States. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So Texas usually has more than one of the states happening. One of the ones happening in Richardson, Texas, which established before us. We were still waiting to hear back if we were going to get ours. But we had one in Austin. Fortunately, we only had 8 people show up. Crazy part was like 5 of them were from Dallas. So if you guys watch our stuff or you're listening, shout out to you guys. And it was pretty good. I mean, Colin, what did you run?
So I had original plan. I had talked about it briefly. I don't know if I talked about it on here or if it was just the various
talked
random
about it with
randos.
me.
Huh?
You talked about it with me. I don't think it ever came up in an actual video. In any videos.
Okay. I originally had a deck I was making that I'll make a profile or something for it. I'll do something with it. I'm thinking we'll talk about it at minimum on the Patreon mini podcast. But just long story short, I had an OTK deck I was trying to make. I'm doing a lot of stuff currently this past couple weeks, so I just straight up didn't have time to build it. I was playtesting online, but to get the physical cards together and make sure it was all working, I didn't have time. So I ended up just defaulting back on my Millium 2.0 deck and just throwing in a couple extra cards into it to make it at least more playable competitively. And that was about it for that. What'd you do, Oscar?
I kind of just fell back on the classic that I've been running for a while, and that's just IU. I changed some cards up. I actually used influence of some of the other decks I've seen do better than mine, and picked tech cards like Unending Hatred, and there was another one, I forget what it was, but things to help counter against like token elves or just discard a card from opponent's hand type thing.
Yeah. What'd you run, Joey?
Oh man, I ran like a mile or two on Saturday. Get my exercise in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How did IU run, Colin, Oscar?
It was okay. Against Fairer, I mean, I could have done a lot better. Against Mikage, I won the first one, lost the second one, and as Colin would tell you, I had opportunities I missed out on the third one, and I ended up losing. So I was like, 1 and 2 by the end of the day. Because it was only 3 rounds with 8 people. Yeah. What'd you say?
What was that, Jay?
How did Millie run?
It ran pretty good. It ran as good as it could have for the most part. The first game I ran was against the Mikage deck, which I believe what you saying was the same list as something else, Oscar?
Yeah, the GP Australia.
GP Australia list. And that one I did decent against. I lost I won game 1 against him. Everything just flowed really well inside of the deck. Game 2, I lost just out of... I think I misplayed pretty hard in that one. Game 3, he threw out an Abdul like turn 2, and I couldn't get rid of it fast enough, and that just... and every card I had in hand was a reso with an enter effect rather than my other ones that are like tap effects and different things like that to gain those counters. So it slowed me down by, I ended up essentially losing, I feel like, at the end of the day by one turn. One turn was what I was behind of what I need to do what I needed. And Abdul had shorted me a bunch of turns, technically, with those counters and stuff. So if it wasn't for Abdul, I definitely could have bounced back a lot harder, but it was just, I don't have enough destruction in the Millium deck, which I really should have in there, or some form of it. But and then the second game I did pretty well against the deck. It just ran smoothly. Third one was against Lunia deck, which that was a combination of, I forgot what Lunia did, especially her flip of being able to hit for 8 and then have swiftness. So I just straight up wasn't prepared for that. And so I was like, well, all right, I'm gonna lose game 1. And game 2, I just had the worst draws ever. So I was like, well, there goes that one.
I watched some of that Lunia. Sorry, I didn't interrupt. I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
I got to watch some of that Lunia play. It was actually pretty cool. You know, he's throwing down Sylvias, swinging in, pinging elves so they wouldn't block. Declaring non-blockers somewhere.
Yeah, no, it was pretty interesting, and definitely, there's definitely stuff I could do different inside of the Millium deck to help with. I think the main thing it's missing is destruction. It doesn't necessarily need cancels or anything like that. It has enough control in the form of Bear and Keys' Call and stuff like that. I think the main thing I just need is destruction for things like Abdul, but also strong early game resos like Freyla and stuff that are just hard for me to instantly counter early game. It's a Millium 2.0 deck is a slow ramp, and then as soon as you hit turn 4, preferably turn 5, but turn 4 is when it really ramps and does what it's supposed to do.
And like you know, I imagine Abdul never like attacked or blocked very much, so like you can't really magic light him or anything.
Right, and like in that game specifically, he ended up putting more counters on Abdul, so he ended up having more attack and defense. So even if I could swing into him or anything like that, I need a stronger reso to do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and it ran as well as I would have expected to do. I wish it would have ran a little bit better, especially in that third game with my dead draws. But for what I had in the basically not altering it at all, with the exception of 4 cards, it ran pretty good, I think.
In the end, it was from first through fourth, Feyre, Mikage, and then Ayu and Lunia really didn't play it out to see who was third and fourth. They just kind of called it there.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Some awesome play mats, by the way, for this ARG. They're like this super soft felt material, and they're the 2-player play mats. Oscar's got, for all that judging Oscar did, he got a judge play mat. And a judge pin. Judge. They're really nice
I don't have
play
the pin on
mats.
hand, but it's somewhere.
It's more because especially like Oscar and I just passively just acquire play mats all the time. So it's nice to have a play mat that's different. Yeah. Like it's not just cool. I mean, it's cool to have cool image play mats, but to have one that's both 2-player and a different material and very unique and stuff is really cool. It's something that we would actually see ourselves using. Whereas the other ones, it's like, oh, cool, I collected a mat. Gonna put this in I have a bag and a box of about, 15 playmats or so that, you know, if you guys win the giveaway, you'll get to choose some of them that you want. Which that giveaway, if you guys are following, should be later this week, I think, is when I'll announce the winner for that. But yeah, so I was pretty excited about the playmat and the pins. I was wearing that pin the whole time.
You're like the only one.
I was so excited. I love pins. I love little things. I love knickknacks. I'm a sucker for that. Like if I go, to a tourist location, like I'm the guy who's like at those vendors with all the magnets and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get all this stuff and put it in a cool little tiny baggie. I love that stuff.
Nah, I see the tourist trap, and I just kind of move on.
Nah, you crazy. There was this one in California that had a little, what are they called, marionette or whatever, with the strings and the stick, and it's like do 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 do. And I almost got it, but it's super cool looking.
So dumb. All right,
but
so back on track.
Yeah, I would say even better. So we had the weekend. We had the ARG on Saturday. Richardson had theirs today. Today's Sunday when we're recording this. And I'm not sure on the results. I was actually looking just a few seconds ago, and nothing's been posted yet, if anything at all. Maybe they didn't have huge numbers. We'll find out later. But Sunday for us was the pre-release, which we ended up having a total of 12 people show up. And it ended up being a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We had 2 people come out from Dallas. 2 different people from the previous day. And we had... and then just a couple normal people, some new people. It was a really great event overall. Like Oscar said, 12 people showing up was awesome. So we did we maxed out on the pre-release kit for the amount of people we can do. And so, what were your overall thoughts there, Oscar?
Before we jump into that,
okay.
To the people from Dallas, Roderick and Bryson, thank you for coming. I don't know if they listen to this, but if they do, shout outs to y'all guys. But as for the pre-release, there's something I was noticing, like when opening the packs. I have some of the cards right here. It does feel slightly less in quality than, say, the last set, and it could just be in my head. But it almost has like that that feel that the
second print run
had. The only difference
people were commenting about that.
The only difference is like second print run hollows weren't nearly as good as the way these are showing up. So
yeah, there's. It's not just you. People were commenting about how the print, and I noticed that with. I specifically noticed it. There's obviously other cards, but with the panda. I don't know if it was the dark panda. It might have been the dark panda that came out, or another one. This cat's sitting on my back. It doesn't look like it, but it is. And I looked at it, and just like I noticed that one specifically. I was like, this almost looks like the proxies Oscar and I print, like just the visual quality of it. And I was like, I wonder what I couldn't put my finger on it, but something about it felt like not as good quality. And so the textures definitely are better than second print run. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't pull any texture, my little sob story, but from what little I saw from looking at Oscar's texture, it looked like they were definitely at least at minimum better than second print run. Would you say they're as good as usual first print run textures?
No, yeah, they were as good as they've ever been.
Okay.
No issues there. Like I said, the hollows and the textures all together are up there where they should be. And
they said it was Belgium is where this print facility was.
Okay.
Is that different than the normal ones?
I'm not too familiar with any of that. I thought
you told me before.
Well, yeah, 'cause I thought the 2 print centers was Singapore and Germany, and I thought Germany was the other printer they don't go with immediately. It's second print run, but I guess I could be wrong with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They could have gone with the crappier second print run one for the first print run, and that's why we have the second print run booster box they're being put in. And also why we got the ruler misprint and why we're having the poorer quality stuff. Like usually for second prints, they're like, we'll save money, we'll go to this other print place and do this minimum payment for the cards. And this time they're like, okay, we'll do the same thing for the first print run, but we'll do a higher minimum so the hollows and textures look nicer. But still, that print facility isn't as good as the other one overall, and that's why we have that. And they just physically can't make any boxes outside of the flimsy, shitty boxes. And so that's why we got that as well. And that's all. Could also be why we got different QR scanners, is maybe they just only print those ones.
That was the other thing. So first of all, it's all speculation. We don't know what actually happened.
Yeah.
But the QR codes were a lot nicer. Usually they're just a thin piece of paper, and these were like the way it was back when SKL first came out. It's kind of slightly laminated, like the way a deck of cards would be.
Yeah, I'm really digging them.
I would say it's like, I'd say it's a little bit like above speculation, since you guys work in a printer, and you know how this stuff works.
Oh yeah, we're experts on it.
Well, we're saying, probably more capable of like spotting like a bad something than most people.
Especially like black and shades and different coloring and stuff like that. Oscar would be able to spot. But outside of that, that's the other thing. Yeah. This is the other reason I think it's the second print run people, is because of the packs themselves. I noticed that. Remember, they always open weird.
Open.
Yeah, these ones, I noticed the same thing. They don't rip down the center. They rip and then curve off to the side, and then I got to rip the rest of the pack open. Oh my gosh, this cat is so fat.
You see it moving his butt behind you?
Yeah, he's 100% on me now. He switched. and so it's hard to open the packs, and that is usually a characteristic of the second print run. So I'm thinking whether it was for financial reasons, maybe they got Advent the Demon King didn't sell as well, because Advent Demon King came out before they did the announcement that they were going to make all these fixes to changes and Advent Demon King was also with the weird ruler ratios and stuff like that. So maybe because of the stuff when it first came out, they were like, oh man, this didn't sell as well initially, when we thought, let's do the course correction, financially make up for it by doing the cheaper print center while we build ourselves back up. So that could be why. I feel like there was another point I was going to make, but obviously, like Oscar said, this is speculation. But I just find it weird that they would do a cheaper print option in the middle of a cluster switch over, when it sounds like what Jeff said hinted that they're going to switch back at some point. So, either that. That's what I was going to say. Either that, or the main print center is a nicer one, so more people go to it. So maybe it just wasn't able to meet their deadline.
Yeah. And
so they went to somewhere else just to meet their deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We have. Because this was also a pre-release kit. Let's see if the boxes end up the same when we get those boxes in.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It could have just been to get the kits out in time, and now we got the.
And that was the other thing, is this was the first time we ever had the issue, but the promos when they came in, when LGS opened them, they're like this, just in the box, packaged up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that's the card.
It wasn't even that bad. It was exactly as I had.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
It was pretty bad.
Oscar.
We had to kind of bend them back in the shade. It was just crazy seeing it, and then weird handing them out and be like, oh, this is insane. Which we've never had that before. Yeah,
that was unfortunate.
But beyond that, it was a lot of fun to draft. I like a lot of the cards. I'm probably going to be more... I'm sorry, we didn't draft. We did sealed. But I feel like it's going to be a lot more fun to draft this than it is to do the sealed.
Who ended up winning that one?
Young did. And then I think Lee got second, which Lee's usually up there.
No. The new guy, Kyle, got second.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, what? How do you think the pre-release went for this set?
I mean, I think it went well.
Think it went well.
We had 12 people. We had 12 people last time, but this time we the ARG event post for us locally is what pulled in that old player that came back, which is Kyle. Kyle and his girlfriend came because our LGS posted that we were going to have a States, and he didn't even know the game was still around and going. And then he came and joined the community, and like from what I see, he really loved it and was like super excited to get back in.
Yeah. Well, mainly, so how do you think this set compares to the other sets as far as pre-release? Combination of how do you think it played compared to the other sets in sealed, and like how do you think the overall like your excitement level at this pre-release compared to the other two pre-releases from this cluster?
It was a little difficult for me to like say super jump into it and be like enjoying it and opening the packs and reading all the cards, because I was helping Kyle and his girlfriend like majority of that time, having to answer questions about interactions, how things worked, because they've been out of the game since Moon Priest's Return came out, which is back in Grim Cluster. So I did message him a lot of stuff, like filling him in, but even coming into it today, I had to fill in even more and answer a lot of questions and limited counters and different things like that. And so it did take away time from what I was going to try to really look through everything. But I don't know, it was pretty good. I liked it. I had fun. I didn't do well. I think I ended 1 and 2, and that one was a bye. For anybody curious, because we said we had 12 players, one dropped right before third round, headed home.
This set I noticed was definitely more, at least it felt like more destruction heavy and removal heavy, but with bounces, a lot of destruction cards and damage cards that would lead to destruction and different things like that. So it definitely felt more tougher to play against certain decks, or if certain cards were pulled and all that, which could be why it would lend itself better to draft over sealed overall.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll weigh in again next week after we've done that draft and see what the differences were. Yeah. I felt like when we were doing ADK, even last pre-release, I feel like that deck would have been... I don't know. I had more fun with the deck, and it was a lot easier to run. And I think I actually got wins out of it, as opposed to the way this one went. And when we went to the GP, and even though it was mixed packs 3 and 3, I feel like I did way better with that than I've done with this. And that was a 4-color deck, and this one was just like 3, and the third one was just like 2 cards I ran. The last color.
Interesting.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was able to pretty easily run 3 colors, which was nice. But it was kind of fun, though. Not fun, but running the 1-cost green that removes counters off of a target ruler and just playing that turn 1 to get rid of your opponent's limit counters. Yeah. So that they, especially if they're running... A lot of times people will run 1 or 2 colors that they just don't have stones for because they're just going to use the limit counters for them.
I totally forgot that would be how that works. That's so good.
Yeah. I mean, in combination, a lot of people are running the red rulers, so you're taking those limit counters and their strength counters away at the same time.
Yeah. No, if they happen to run Butler, it gets rid of mystery counters and the limit counters.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
No, I mean, I like I put it up there pretty high because it just removing whichever counter type, gems mystery strength like that in itself I thought was valuable, but I didn't even think about how good limit counters were. Off. That's insane. Makes it much better.
Yeah.
How was your pre-release, Joey?
Oh man, I kept. I actually didn't hear anything from you guys during pre-release. It was kind of sad.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of being caught up talking to everybody.
Huh?
It was like getting caught up talking to everyone. Like everybody was pretty pumped. Like a lot of people had been showing up for a little bit for like locals, and so a lot of those people were there, and so we're catching up with them. And some people had stopped playing the game for at least 1 or 2 of the sets. Now they're back, so it's different things like that. We're just getting caught up talking with people.
Yeah.
So going on to the next part, or anything you want to mention before we move on to the next part?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh wait, yeah. No, there is. The main part of it was the chase card thing.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So they had announced, or you want to go over the details, Oscar?
Right. So normally we have some sort of chase card. Now I don't know if we have had any in the last 2 sets besides the variants, but we had things like, say, the Band Girls or the Husbando cards, where you get 1 guaranteed per box, and usually with the pre-release kit there's at least 2 guaranteed, and that varies. Sometimes you get 3. But this time, this go around, it looks like the starter deck rulers in their original print running, completely unsealed, or as Ubers are the chase cards. So you get Keurig, Shayla, Tigris, and Gil. So you see people opening pre-release kits who are pulling like 2 to 3 Ubers each, not including the chances of an actual like Uber starter ruler, not an Uber new ruler. So it's just big question. Is like, what's that going to do to, say, the market of those cards, the original Ubers between that? What's going to happen?
Are they maybe thinking about like going forward with that too, like having that be a normal thing? Or
I wouldn't think so, only because I understand a little bit why they did it as a way to fix the old Ubers, but making it easier for people to get. But it's just doing some weird thing that it's like, well, now there's going to be like 20 million Tigris Ubers out there, and especially following the set after we had the issue where you're getting Tigris and Gil and Rhea, and oh hey, Tigris, Gil, and Rhea is the old art, and so everybody's pulling in a crazy number of them, and now they're opening these packs like, what, really, another Uber Tigris? Like, why? Or now it's Uber, but another Tigris? Like, why?
Yeah, and it's and it's also like a combination of, I don't think it goes to the problem of the sealed ability thing. Like, once again, it goes back to the whole thing of it was a cool idea maybe, but obviously, especially if, I mean, this problem could have been foreseen if you thought it to the end of the cluster, which maybe they didn't. They were like, cool idea, and then retroactively we're thinking like, oh shoot, now we gotta do this, this, and this. So we're getting the market absolutely flooded with these rulers, which kind of sucks because it helps the secondary market for things like IU and Wilser and the rulers that are unique to the set, but it completely decimates the market for these other rulers, which feels like two opposite ends of the scale when it should have definitely been more evened out. So the sealed build, this is just a side effect of that, and
yeah.
Go ahead.
It would maybe make sense if they only did like 2 printings, like period. Like, you know, they had their unsealed abilities and they had their sealed abilities. Like, you know, unsealed abilities. And like if they had just stopped there, and like those were the only 2 types of cards, but you know, like you guys were saying, like you have Rhea with like unsealed abilities, Rhea with 1 unsealed ability, and the alt art, I think. And then you have, like, you know, exactly. And then you have Gil, and then Gil with his unsealed abilities, and Uber Gil. And it's just, it seems like there's too many. They just did too many forms of these cards.
Yeah. And it also, there's just the aesthetic of it. Like, when you pulled an Uber, it's a big deal. Yeah. That's super rare. Or if you see playing against someone, they flip over and their ruler is an Uber version of their favorite ruler that they paid a lot of money for, or pulled and are super happy or traded for. It's a big deal to have an Uber, and now it's just like, as someone flips over and it's an Uber Panda, it's like, okay, that's, you know, it's like seeing someone with a band girl. Like, it's sure it's a pretty card, but you're not like, man, how'd you manage to get that card? You must have done a lot of money. You must have opened a lot of boxes. You must have traded half your collection, something like that. Now it's like,
be super lucky.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you must have traded the lowest rarity Severing Winds for that. Like, it's not, it loses, I feel like it hurts the, as dumb as it might sound to say this, it hurts the image of Uber, like the aesthetic value of an Uber inherently. It won't hurt the overall thing of Uber rulers any more than or the secondary market any more than the willpower reward Ubers hurt it. Because those are cheap Ubers as well, which I don't know why they didn't do that. Just wait for the willpower rewards to have Uber versions of these rulers printed. It'll flood the market a lot less, and it'll reward people who want them and things like that. So it could be because they're figuring out how they're combining that with Caster Chronicles in their code cards, so it's something completely different this time around. But yeah, I'm mixed on it. It's cool having Ubers and having that guaranteed, but you know,
be hilarious if they're like, oh hey guys, VIP rewards this year, alternate arts of the starter deck rulers unsealed.
You know, it'd be cool, and this is how you could remedy Caster Chronicles and Force of Will, is like reprints of Force of Will rulers but with Caster Chronicle characters.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That'd be cool. Or like caster cards from, it's like half that and half caster cards with Force of Will characters or something like that.
I am curious about the crossover, because they were going to have some of theirs come over to Force of Will, which they did in the form of the stones. But there was to be Force of Will characters to go to casters, which we haven't seen yet.
I think they're waiting either for a later set, waiting for it to establish itself, and then being like, whoosh, or have its own like Vingolf style thing for Caster Chronicles that'll be Force of Will.
I still think that would be a great idea, is that Vingolf, just being Caster's Vingolf, would be neat.
I agree. Jeff, if you're listening, Caster Chronicles Vingolf. And also you should watch Ruby. Oh, that's what I was getting. Okay, here's the thing I gotta talk about. Oscar already knows.
I don't know.
So, during the stream, I'm gonna call Jeff out. During the stream, we're talking about stuff, and Ruby brought up, which, apologies ahead of time. I just want to know if Jeff watched Ruby. I didn't need a whole argument in the comment section about whether Ruby was an anime, guys. Jeez, just calm down. Also, Ruby is an anime, so shut up. But he was asked about, and he said he hasn't really watched any anime post 2001. And I was like, okay, he likes the old art style and stuff like that. And I don't know if I commented or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, no, Ghost in the Shell movies, like one of my favorite anime movies and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute. After the stream, I figured this out. His icon on his YouTube channel is the icon of the Laughing Man. As you guys know, the Laughing Man was the main villain of Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex Season 1. Do you know when the premiere date of that Season 1 was? 2002. So, Jeff, you are a liar. You have watched anime post 2001.
I didn't realize it was that close of a date when you
So
brought this
dumb.
point up. He could have just been like, yeah, I think it's 2001. I don't watch anything before that. And then been like,
I'm just
wait,
saying, there
I
were
saw
3
that.
seasons of Standalone Complex, so he was well into 2004 at minimum. Assuming they didn't
maybe
pull
he
an
only
Attack
liked-
on
maybe he
Titan.
only liked the first season.
Huh?
I said maybe
You
he
only
only
liked
liked the first season.
No,
Yeah.
well...
I don't know the Laughing Man was.
yeah, I'm trying to remember if the other seasons were as good as season 1, but... Psh, point is, I'm calling you out, Jeff.
You can ignore him.
Anyway, so the next segment is our Ruler of the Week.
Wait. We have one more
Oh
thing.
my gosh. Oh, we do? You said one more thing last time, so
yeah,
correct
well then,
thing
and we
would
were
have been
talking
2
about
more
this last
things.
thing. I remembered the other thing. I don't
Is it
think
about
Joey's
Ruby?
seen it. No, it's about the next set. And
Oh.
some images that
Oh,
came
yeah.
out. I'm sharing it with Joey right now, if you look in chat. And we got another image. And it was that big dragon that we've seen before. We'll put it on screen somewhere so y'all can see it. And then 3 more art images were shown for cards. One of them was really interesting, has 0 in it.
Yeah.
So she's coming back.
Totally not the other ruler with
Rhea?
the other owl.
But that's the thing is, like, how does Rhea turn to 0? Or is
Because
this
here's the
maybe
thing,
this is a
Oscar.
memory.
Oscar. We just introduced... I don't follow the lore, the current lore, but so it's speculation. We just got inverted cards that show light side and dark side. And there's 1 or 2 inverted cards that are dark side to light side. So it could be something like that. I forget the exact... There's something about inverted cards. There's some sort of wording of the reverse realm as evidenced by Aimul and Lumia. So this could be the
and
same thing.
that's
How
why-
there's Lumia and Aimul.
and that's why,
there's Zero and... What's her face?
That's why Dark Riding Hood turns into her green Riding
Yeah.
Hood version.
Yeah.
That's cool, actually. I want to see more of those cards introduced now that I realize
What's
that's the
the-
case.
What's the bottom left card? I can't even make it out.
It's... What is it, Oscar?
I like how you say because you know who it is, but you hate saying her name. Nyarlathotep. Nyarlathotep.
Oh, yeah, Nominal.
Namana. And Piggy on the far
So,
right.
yeah, I was about to say, you guys are focusing on the wrong things. And the bottom right is our Lord and Savior, God Pig. Apparently leading an army of pigs, I assume, in a rebellion against their human overlords. And hopefully they slaughter them all, because these are God pigs.
See,
And
Oh,
I'm
you know
super
what?
excited.
If you look
Sick.
at that Namanam, I'm going to have to say because I hate saying her name too, picture, you can see Tigress, Shayla, and I'm guessing it's Kirik on the right. I wonder what's happening to them.
I've seen that picture, haven't I?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they have that picture?
She done about to kill them.
Probably.
Oh, no. It's okay. Tigress can die now.
You know what? She is. And then the next set will have zombie, or dead or zombie versions of them, the way we had in... from SKL, we had the 7 Kings. They died, and in that first TTW, you had Dark Far, you had Dark Magus and stuff.
So,
I
my
totally
favorite...
thought,
my
Oscar-
Huh?
my what?
So I totally thought there was no way that Force Will had like done zombie cards and stuff. I was like, what is he talking about? They haven't had any like weird and then then he started showing. I was like, oh yeah, we had all the dark versions of them. Dark
See,
Melgus.
this could be cool because my favorite deck to run in Yu-Gi-Oh was dragons and zombies and zombie dragons. It would be cool to have pandas and zombies and zombie pandas if Tigress like dies and comes back as a zombie and he has like an army of zombie pandas behind him.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one cost Dark Panda a zombie panda?
No.
No, I thought he
You
was.
look
It
it
was
up.
a
I don't
corrupted
remember.
panda. It was a corrupted panda, I think.
But
It's corrupted by like a...
on zombies, which I don't think it'd be zombies. I misspoke when I actually said it. I meant like they're dark, evil versions of them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But
No,
zombies
I'm
would be cool though. And I was even telling Colin the other day, I really missed that one edition that was in Graveyard with attached to a resonator when a resonator came into the field.
Yeah.
Gave it +2 and made it a zombie as well.
Necro Lance. Well, I don't know what
Nah.
this is not the Lance part, but
No.
I know what the deck. Yeah, I remember the deck.
All right, well, I'm gonna look it up now. 'Cause I want to know what that is.
It was,
What? While you look that up,
Necro-
I'll introduce our
No.
ruler of the week, which
Joey's trying to
for
beat
this
me.
week, as you guys
Necromancy of the Dead.
Yeah, of the undead lord.
Necromancy of the Dead. Yeah.
Of the undead
no.
lord.
So our ruler of the week is Kirik. This one's a little bit different because it's the unsealed Kirik. I don't know if we've done Kirik before. I feel like we have.
No,
But,
I don't think we.
We haven't? Okay, so this is unsealed Kirik. So I was pretty excited about Kirik going into the set, especially with the unsealed, because I feel like Kirik has always been like just wavering on the outside potential, and now with his unsealed abilities, being able to search for cards and different things like that, being able to search out a dragon and put it into the field, etc., really add more viability to an already pretty strong deck with the amount of burn that deck runs and stuff like that. Downside is he gets completely shit on by a 1-cost quick cast green card. So you have to run green, unfortunately, in order to make Kirik work, in order to counter that card. Outside of that, he's really strong. Sans that card, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's depending on how strong. I mean, depending on how often ran that is, and sideboard is, it could.
Like I talked about before on the spoiler, people are going to at minimum side deck that card in most decks to counter Farer, because Farer is the big deck, so you run it to counter Farer, and if you come across a Kirik, then you're like, oh, well, I have this card for Kirik that I was going to use for Farer anyways, and it is even worse for Kirik than it is for Farer because of how dependent he is.
I don't think it'd be sideboard necessarily. Like me going into it, I'm going to think, oh, Farer is number 1. There might be a chance of Mikage since Mikage's been showing up. Kirik and Shayla coming in, and Kirik looking like it could be legit. I'm actually going to mainboard 1 or 2, sideboard 1 or 2.
That's true, because it's not all it does. It has a secondary effect of cancel target fire chant for a 1-cost quick cast. So not only does can you main deck it and just cancel fire chants, but it absolutely shits on Kirik, because you're like, get rid of the counters, and they're like, okay, I'm going to play fast food to get my counters back, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to cancel that for 1. So,
or they're not going to cancel it and then get rid of your counters again.
Yeah. So
okay,
that feeds in the problem of they're giving all the power to green, and by trying to take away the power from green, they're also shitting on all the other. It's like when Black Moonbeam was printed, and it shat on every single deck except for the deck it was trying to fix. I don't know if we'll run into technically that same problem, but we're running into the splash effect problem where it counters Fair, but it also counters every other deck and makes it so Kirik probably won't be very playable. And it runs in green, so you have to run green to counter green in that whole thing I was talking about, where it's just this green circle. But maybe it'll be fixed in the future. But still, I love Kirik, and I think it's a really cool deck that you just have to run green in.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
so that being...
So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump in first, only because I'm not really into Kirik. I know somewhat of what he does, like from what we did in spoilers and some of the support he's had, and I've already forgotten most of it. Mostly because I'm not too concerned. I'm concerned, like, I'm on Team Shayla when it comes down to, are you Team Kirik, Team Shayla? Shayla all the way. But so my card's kind of a throwaway as a result. But I kind of thought about something else, like doing a red-white and running Zero's Familiar for protection on your ruler side wouldn't be too bad. Right?
Wait, say it again?
No, I think that'd be terrible.
My throwaway was actually Wind Secluded Refuge. Just, I know it doesn't protect your ruler side, but why not? Just throw in Wind Secluded Refuge in your deck. Since you'll probably be running dragons, and there's a dragon destruction card, maybe you can help protect them. No, but I was just thinking about ways to give a ruler barrier, but Zero's Familiar does.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, not that it matters because the counter card doesn't target, right?
Oh, does it not? Yeah, it does. And so yeah, never mind. That doesn't matter.
Fair doesn't.
Forget I said that. Somebody else brought something up that I didn't target. I don't know why I didn't remember that. But I'm I guess I'm not feeling it. This ruler.
You're like, all my cards are dead. I'm over it.
Well, I'm gonna leave the really good conversation and reasoning behind y'all's picks up to you guys. But yeah, Wind Secluded Refuge. Protect your dragons that you're gonna be throwing in from that God's Art, and swinging in with like that crazy big one that they just introduced. But yeah.
I mean, the Wind Secluded Refuge probably is an okay pick. I don't know if you need it, but I mean,
yeah. After Alice Cluster, I don't think I was a huge fan of running it anymore in mini decks. I felt like it went slower.
It lost some of its punch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially because like a lot of what would kill a J ruler doesn't. Like, there's not a lot of threats right now, and there is one coming up with the red black one, but
Yeah, well, I mean, not just that, but like other things that would hit your resonators that you may be trying to protect. We have things like Final Battle now that doesn't target
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
It just starts wiping your field out. So
Yeah,
it doesn't have all the, you know.
doesn't protect anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as
not the
useful,
hype.
especially with when you could just run cancels instead,
Yeah.
which theoretically could be stronger.
But with that said, since I had a horrible pick and horrible reasoning, give these people something they're really listening for, guys. Really, really
Okay.
give them something good. I hope these are
Well,
top
probably about
quality
to
picks.
get into this.
Okay, Joey.
Yeah, I picked. I actually didn't pick anything that like helps Kirik the ruler really himself out. Like I didn't pick any battle chance, which I think his
Battle
ability,
arts.
huh? Yeah,
Battle arts.
Yeah, battle arts. I think his ability to basically be able to draw a card per turn, like every turn, you know, like depending on how liberal you want to be with your strength counters, which I would be very liberal for, like pay 2 strength counters and draw a card is like insane. But
If it's a
I ended
battle
up going with the Piale, the Flaming Fist.
Oh yeah.
I think she's easily like one of the best cards, like to cut, like one of the best red aggro cards to come out in the recent sets. I think the ability to buff her with like very liberal use of your strength counters because you're still Kirik is like one of the best parts about her. And like so like at 2 mana, and you know with her like pretty much she's a 9/9 whenever you want her to be. It's just I think she's pretty insane. She has a lot of potential.
Yeah, no, she is pretty cool with and being able to, like I had mentioned when we saw her, being able to gain strength counters and also have the ability to use them is really important. We need more stuff that uses strength counters that isn't just burn chance and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely really like her. I pulled her during the pre-release, so I was pretty excited about that.
God, how do you not win your pre-release then? She's the best card ever.
I mean, Oscar pulled a Giga Thunderfish and didn't win.
There's some pretty good removal that people were bouncing it, and I didn't want to replay it again. One, I accidentally played it when I forgot they had Mephistopheles in play on its white side, and it came in rested, and then they had a 14/14 in play that just swung into it, killing it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not playing this so well.
That's
Gotcha.
great. So my pick is obviously one of my favorite cards for him, which is Fast Food.
Yep,
It's the 1-cost chant. So you choose one, put 5 strength counters on your J ruler, or you can banish a Resonator. If you do, put 10 strength counters on your J ruler, or you can banish a Beast Resonator. If you do, put 15 counters on your J ruler. So this is very great and also very important because if in this scenario, for example, if you get super fairly gotten rid of all your counters with the one chant, this is a really quick, easy way to just boost yourself back up to 15, and especially in addition to Kirik's tap ability and stuff like that. And the reason this is great is because the way it works Beast. In case you guys missed it, the Pig, Hoel Chicken, and a lot of the other support, Pig God and all that, are all Beasts. So for example, say one problem I ran into was deciding whether to run Hoel Pig because it's the 1 cost, you banish it, you recover your ruler. I usually have enough strength counters, I don't always have to recover my ruler to do the tap ability. And then once you Judgment, the Pig is just dead weight. You don't need it at all because you can't. There's no reason for it. And so having that, and it's a beast, 1-cost beast, and having this card, suddenly that Pig becomes useful. If you didn't use a Spanish ability, or you pull it after you J-activate it, and it's in your hand, basically for 2 costs you get 15 strength counters, is really good. It has combos really well with Hoel Chicken. Hoel Chicken is the 1-cost chicken beast. When it hits the graveyard, you gain 5 counters, so comboed with Fast Food, you're getting 20 counters off of that, etc., etc. So it's just really good, a really easy way to make use of cards that could otherwise become useless, especially late game inside of your deck, and also is one of the highest counter producers inside of all of the sets that we've seen for only 1 cost on top of all of it. So I really like it.
Okay. I think it's pretty interesting. I don't know if I would run it just because I always, I don't know how restrictive like how much you need strength counters and like how starved you are like in a typical game. Because I haven't played Keurig very much. I'm also surprised you didn't go with the Piggy Huel's Great Hero Pig.
Pig God.
Yeah,
It's because fast food is still like I think the must-have inside of this deck. For example, if you're wanting to run your card, Joey, you're saying that you're basically being able to buffer every turn. Well, if you want to buffer every turn, you got to use strength counters for that. That's a consistent eating up of strength counters. You want to draw a card every turn, Joey? That's a consistent use of strength counters that we've never had before. Both those that ability and that card are two things, consistent uses of strength counters we have not seen in previous sets. It's usually just all or nothing burns and different things like that. And so now that we finally have consistent eating up of strength counters, it's nice to keep this populated and not have to sacrifice Piggy just to recover your ruler to gain 10 strength counters. It's better to, instead of banishing Piggy, just to sack it with fast food and gain 15 counters instead of at max 10 counters.
See, I get, like, I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I feel like losing the card value, like, you're losing 2 cards for more strength counters, whereas with just sacrificing Piggy, you're only using 1 card for, like, around, like, maybe 7 or 8 strength counters, or 5, depending on how much. Like,
yeah,
I feel
every
like
strength counter counts.
Yeah, but I feel like the card disadvantage you suffer from using a card to just put strength counters on.
Well, no, you're not just using it. Like I said, it's late game in case when Piggy becomes useless. After you J-activate and you pull a pig, you draw a pig, that's a dead card in your hand for all intents and purposes. You can put it on the field and have a 3/3 or whatever stat it is, but it's at that point in the game, it's completely useless. So being J-activated, and you have no way to tap your J ruler to gain counters. You're entirely reliant on your deck at that point. So having something that is able to not only put counters back on your J ruler after you've burned them all, clearing their field, but also put a crap ton of counters on there all at once, especially if comboed, like I said, with chicken, so 20 counters for 2 cards. I think especially late game is where it really starts to shine.
I would say that Piale gets her own strength counters, so she's a strong
She gets like
Dragonoid
2
woman.
strength counters.
She's a strong Dragonoid woman who doesn't need no fast food. Okay.
She 100% is trying to eat that freaking pig, which is why the pigs are gonna rise up and kill her.
The next set, you're gonna have a card where it's like she get really close to the pig just to go against it and eat it. Was a trick the whole time.
Oh man.
Yeah. And that's why that SMP card exists. They're getting rid of revenge.
All I want is a pig ruler and a bunch of like 1-cost pig resonators. That's just like elf population of the field with feasting, but with pigs, and it'll be great. And when they die, they have a side effect that they go into their own pile, and they can be served as food for bigger resonators that aren't pigs and stuff to play them instead of paying for them.
I would play that mechanic though.
I'd make a pig deck as well.
I'll be making a Keurig deck at some point here. My priority right now is Imul for this next set, which we'll probably have gameplay of that Thursday, I think, is what we're aiming for. Before the set comes out of Imul and Scheherazade and the other Scarlet Girl.
Charizard.
Charizard. You said Charizard?
Sherry.
Yeah.
I call her Sherry.
And so obviously I'm running fast food in it, but I'll be running a bunch of other new cards in it. So, for when I make my Keurig deck, I'll be running fast food in it and stuff like that. But that'll come out like next week or the week after when I put because I also have pandas. I have a lot of stuff I'm excited to make, but Keurig, pandas, and Imul are my 3 decks I'm looking at. I'm really excited for Keurig to see how he works with these new mechanics and the unsealed abilities, especially. Are you guys excited?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Joey. I'm looking forward to Shayla, and then, as I call her, Sherry. I think we've already mentioned before, I don't know if it's on podcast, that we're each picking a ruler to build. That's the newer rulers. I got Scheherazade, Colin got Aimo, Joey has a Dusk Girl, right?
Scarlet, yeah.
Scarlet. So those are the videos we'll have coming up soon for gameplay for everybody to check out. And then deck profiles, of course, because those went well over the last time we did those.
Yeah, we'll start getting into deck profiles again. It's been, especially during all the spoiler season, it's hard. But we'll get back into doing that type of stuff. And we'll hopefully have a match-off maybe between Kirik and Shayla, since everyone is Team Kirik or Team Shayla, apparently.
I know.
Let us know below.
Yeah, let us know below. I'm looking forward to next week's podcast where we go over Shayla for the Ruler of the Week, and I pick a super cool card that goes with her.
Yeah.
Kirik versus Shayla is just going to be like...
I'm surprised Oscar didn't go for Ultra Dragon, just like the safe pick.
Dude, yeah, Ultra Dragon would be amazing in a Kirik deck. I'd definitely run him.
Oscar's trying to be super salty, like, oh no, I'm Team Shayla, I can't pick it. Yeah, I'm Team Cap, but I can still say that vision is cool and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could.
Like I said, I don't even remember what that dragon does. That's why I was like,
Ultra Dragon, it destroys Fox. It helps against Farer. It also is a 3-cost 1,000/1,000 with barrier against black and blue.
And flying.
So it helps against Mikage technically.
And Shayla.
And it also...
Yeah, what does an Ultra Dragon Shooting Star do?
Yeah. Besides lose against Kirik. But yeah. So that's about all for today's podcast. And if you guys had any wrap-up thoughts?
I think in wrap-up thoughts, before everybody just clicks away at the video if you haven't done it already, if you guys have, say, lists that you'd like to see us play with, definitely send them to us in any way over social media so we can do those, because we want to do, we often have time to play games and record them, but we're always playing the same 2 decks. Like I'm always playing IU and Con's always playing Millium 2 or something like that. Like we do have these new ones set up for the next few days, but beyond that, it would be cool to have some other ones beyond.
Oh yeah, we'll have gameplay of our decks we used at ARG for anyone who's interested, and I'll have my OTK deck, like I said, at some point.
Right, which is I said is another IU Millium game, which we've done before, but that'll be
especially
up
if you have,
which has already been up for a day already by the time this came out.
Especially if you have cool, unique deck ideas like that. I really liked Doug, that deck list that was sent to us. The Welser OTK deck was a lot of fun. It doesn't have to be super competitive like the Welser OTK deck. Not necessarily good competitively, but I really enjoyed that deck. It was a lot of fun. So if you have fun or unique, weird stuff like that, especially Wanderer decks, we want to get into Wanderer more. Send that our way as well, because I'm curious what all is out there Wanderer-wise besides the couple decks I always do, because there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
We're going to switch over to our mini podcast, but thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.